Yo guys, quick market update here for you. So just want to do a quick update with regards to, what we had talked about yesterday, right? We were starting to trade up into this previous high. I talked about how I still do think that there's upside potential to this swing high and to here ultimately, but we have to be aware effectively of a potential pullback and a shakeout, because we haven't really had one. We've just been kind of doing this, and we can do this more. We don't have to have the big correction, but a big correction will eventually come. So you have to be aware of that. And basically what I saw happen yesterday, the taking of last week's high here, right? So that's your liquidity on the upside of the market taken out. Now, most likely, we want to target the other direction's liquidity, back down into the other direction. And if you look here, we took out this high. You can see it really nicely on the low time frame here. This actually was like a beautiful kind of reversal. Took out last week's high, got a low time frame sweep, low time frame shift in market structure, pull back to the bearish OB. This would have been like a scalp you could take. I did not personally get in this trade, but if you look here, what do we kind of have? We have that sell model effectively, right? There's the liquidity grab, and it runs all the way back down to the initial consolidation. So it moved up to external range liquidity, took it, and then traded all the way back down. So even if you weren't scalping this, right? I did not get in this move. This happened on Sunday night. Once you came to your screen Monday, right? So Monday, midnight starts here, the midnight New York time. Throw on, let's go one level lower here, right? Here's your New York kill zone. Once you saw that we had this expansive move to the downside, leaving this big gap here, to me, that gives me a clue that there's been kind of a shift in momentum, because we've had an aggressive downward move, blowing out a bunch of lows after taking a high time frame level of liquidity to the upside. That makes me think we're going to trade lower. So I used this information to then short apt, because I thought the risk reward was better. But basically on Bitcoin here, if you did not catch the short up here, or even on this lower high, the next trade was this pullback here, right? And this is into that just barely, right? This is a fair value gap. It doesn't look like it, but this actually penetrates that fair value gap ever so slightly. You can see if I draw a line here, just peaks over. So I'm not saying you just enter it on the hourly, but again, on the low time frame, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, there was another entry provided in this area here. Swing fail, bearish order block, right? Broke market structure, retest. That was your second sell trigger if you didn't get in up here or on one of these. But the expansiveness of that move to the downside was enough of a clue for me to go hop in short on APT. But now what are we looking at here? We now have this 12-hour breaker that's formed, down candle before the up move that took out a high. Okay, and we had a 12-hour candle close below here. So that's technically a 12-hour market structure break. So my thoughts now are this. Obviously, this can just be super bullish and rally back up. But I think the smart play is for all of these lows here. So this low got run, but I believe, let's see here, the low is 523, definitely got run. So this low got run, but you have these kind of equal lows right here. So I think this might spike a little lower yet before bouncing. Maybe this is just it. Maybe this is the low, and we're gonna leave those lows untouched. But personally, based on the run of this high here, the breaker, the market structure shift, I think there's a good chance we sweep these lows. So the two plans, which I posted in Telegram, are this. One is if we trade lower here and we sweep these lows, okay, I would look for short-term longs, whether it's on altcoins, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, for a move back up into this 12-hour breaker, okay? So there could be a $1,000 move here. Counter trend, but it could be nice, right? So let's say we sweep 22,300 and we trade back to, 23,250 or something like that. That's a 5% move. Some alts will do much more than that. But that would be idea number one. And then in this 12-hour breaker, I'm now looking for signs of distribution. Do we come up into here and put in some sort of distributive PA? This would be on the hourly chart, not on the 12-hour. We'd be looking on like the hourly or the lower here for distribution to occur. Alternatively, you could also literally just set asks here halfway, right? Do the mean threshold of the breaker, 50% basically. So move in, target here, stop here. This is a completely valid trade. So you got the break in market structure. I don't know how high we go into here, but breaker down to the next level of support. You could just take this trade. As you guys know, I like to wait, low time frame, look for some sort of reason to get into the short on the lower time frame and hopefully a tighter risk reward. And I don't need to be as aggressive with my targets. If my stop is all the way up here, as you saw, if I enter around here, I got to get all the way down here for a 3R. This market's been super strong. What if we don't get as deep as I want? Whereas if I get in on a low time frame setup, right, where now my stop is here and my entry is very similar, all of a sudden this becomes like a 8 or 9R trade, and I can get out for 3R just at the local lows. So sweep this, look for short-term longs back into here. In here, look for potential signs of distribution to short down to here. Or if we just do this and then distribute, maybe we don't run these lows, same plan. If we get distribution in here, I'm looking to short. We might not run these lows, but if we do, I'm looking to play that bounce back leg. If we don't, I'm just going to wait on my hands and look to maybe short up in here. I would love to long this consolidation here, 20,500 to 21.5. I would love to get a deeper pullback into here before the next leg. But again, it may just be very shallow. Maybe we run these lows, right? And then just go up. And that was it. That was your shakeout. Everyone wanted the 10% shakeout. All we get is 5. So you got to be prepared for either scenario. That's why I'm laying out multiple plans, right? Plan number 1 is playing a long off a sweep of these lows. What that covers me for is if we go up to here, I make some money. And then if we get rejection, I close and I look to short. But if I long this and then we just end up being super strong, we don't get that distribution. Now I've got some exposure. If you're just waiting to long here, what if this is the pullback and we don't come down here? Then you're left in the lurch, right? So this gives me a plan to get some long exposure in case we do not get a much deeper pullback. But the ultimate plan, I believe, is if we're going to get that larger correction, I think it happens from here and it trades down into here, and I'd like to play that short. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. We do have FOMC on Wednesday, as well as some other kind of high impact news items. So I don't know. I made a good trade on APT today. I might not trade until one of these conditions happens or until post FOMC. But here, look, we got kind of a Monday's range now, confluence here. Look where those lows are. Wouldn't this just be a perfect run Monday's low and these lows back in, trade it towards, maybe Monday's high? Don't know if we get that high, but trade it back into this zone, then watch for potential signs of distribution. If we get that, then we short it back down, right? So maybe this is the kind of play we get. I don't know. But that lines up well. That I like that Monday's high and low played out like that, because that lines up well with my sweep these lows plan, get a bounce using Monday's range strategy. So that's all I got, guys. Hope you enjoy. I'll talk to y'all later.